We are continuing our coverage of Hurricane Milton, taking a live look right now at downtown Orlando. While the storm is now offshore and over the Atlantic, the flooding and the widespread power outages continue across the state of Florida. Thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Here's another look at some new video this afternoon from St. Petersburg outside of Tampa. It shows what the strong winds from Milton did to the roof at Tropicana Field, blew it to pieces. This is incredible video from Florida this afternoon. This is the home of Major League Baseball's Tampa Bay Rays. It was set up to be a base camp for 10,000 emergency workers responding to the storm. Everyone, though, had to be evacuated. Fortunately, no one was hurt.
And while the hurricane spared the Tampa Bay area from a direct hit, severe flooding continues to impact the area. Florida's Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office released a video of Tampa as crews across the area rescue people trapped by major flooding. Miranda Parnell from our sister station in Tampa has more.
And we are in Clearwater, just off of US 19 at an apartment complex where our emergency responders have been doing water rescues all morning long. Now just look at how much water is in the parking lot here behind me. The police chief of Clearwater tells me that the water's actually been receding a bit throughout the morning, so this is actually lower than it was before. They say that they get into some of these apartments and the water is neck deep. Now, as you can see right here on this rescue boat, you have all different types of people that are being picked up. You have families that have been needing to be rescued. We've seen people who have ambulatory issues, an older woman that had a wheelchair earlier this morning. And so they said that throughout the night, they were getting 911 calls from folks from this apartment complex. It's an area that has been known to flood, but people who live here tell me they've never seen it flood like this before. But, you know, with those wind gusts throughout the night, emergency responders weren't able to make it out to the apartment complex because it was simply too dangerous. Now, residents tell me that they believe that after a couple hours, emergency responders were able to make it out here and start doing these rescues. But as you can see, folks kind of on their balconies, on the stairwells, still waiting to get picked up by these crews. And they say that they plan to go to each unit in the apartment complex to make sure that there are no people that have been left behind in this rescue mission here. They say they are working with several other teams to make this happen, and they want to make sure that everyone is accounted for and safe. In Clearwater, Miranda Parnell, 10 Tampa Bay.
Headed over to Rod Hill now for a look at weather. Rod, this changes, it seems, hour by hour. What is the level of hurricane it is, or is it still a hurricane?
Well, the last report to come out is still holding on at 75 miles per hour. So that's by, well, 74 is a hurricane, so it's just 1 degree or 1 mile per hour above that. I think the news also is important to know. You can tell it's weakening, right? Here it goes. And what's left of the center is actually now already 200 miles out to sea east of Florida. So the active part of this in terms of active weather from Milton for the United States is over. Yeah, here's the latest report. Still a Category 1, 75 mile per hour winds, 200 miles out to sea. The direction of the track will continue to push it away. So, boy, that video we saw was amazing. And, you know, think about if you have an apartment building, and let's say your apartment's usually 2 blocks away from the beach, right? All of a sudden, the storm surge, the ocean front is now 2, 3, maybe a half a dozen blocks inland, farther than it normally is, and it's just going to take a while for all that water to recede. But last night at 8:30, Siesta Key, Florida, it's a barrier island near Clearwater, just outside of Sarasota. Category 3, 120 mile per hour winds. St. Petersburg, in that same Tampa Bay geographic area, had a report of over 16 inches of rain come down. I mean, that can produce flooding all in its own right. Sarasota had a 96 mile per hour wind gust. Daytona Beach, which is where it exited on the east side of Florida, still had winds of 87 miles per hour. There were 70 mile per hour winds in the Orlando area where Disney World is as well. So I think we're going to continue to get reports of damage that we have not seen yet. Back to you.
You need to come to the front door with nothing in your hands.
So that is the sound of one of multiple rounds police say was fired by a suspect targeting their armored vehicle as authorities in Vancouver tried to negotiate his surrender. And this all began when neighbors say the armed and intoxicated man threatened them, slashed their tires, and fired shots into the air.
That newly released body cam video shows the moments right before an officer shot and killed the suspect. KGW's Amma McCarty walks us through exactly what happened. We do want to warn you first, though, that some people may find the video in this story disturbing.
On Northeast 71st Street in Clark County's Walnut Grove area, Vancouver police joined deputies around 11 p.m. on September 26th to handle a situation with an armed man. Drone video shows the suspect with multiple firearms, including a high-powered rifle. One of two investigators say he used to shoot at other neighbors and at officers.
You are under arrest. You need to come to the front door with nothing in your hands.
Video from body-worn cameras shows rounds striking the outside of the armored vehicle, shaking up the 6 officers inside it.
Fired. Yep, he's shooting at us.
You guys are all right. You're all right.
He still got his gun pointed at us.
The crisis negotiator continues, working to convince the suspect to safely surrender.
Come to the front door with nothing in your hands. Show us that you don't want to hurt anybody out here. Show us that you can be safe. Okay, that's the front window's going.
Despite hours-long efforts to de-escalate the situation, investigators say SWAT saw the suspect just after 2:30 in the morning at the sliding door with a rifle and what appeared to be a ballistic helmet and a gas mask. A Vancouver police officer on the force for 5 years and working with SWAT fired a shot, hitting the suspect in the neck.
He went down. He's down in a 3-side slider.
The suspect, later named as 56-year-old Michael Williams, died at the scene. Officers say they used the drone to clear the home, finding boxes of ammo, rifles, and handguns in a bedroom upstairs. That includes a scoped rifle on a shooting tripod pointed out a window.
The officer, by the way, who shot and killed Williams is now on leave. The Cowlitz County Sheriff's Office is leading the investigation of this shooting.
Clark County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a homicide after a 78-year-old woman was found dead in her home. Family members believe that her murder is connected to a home break-in the day before that. Our Catherine Cook has more.
She meant the world to me.
Stephanie Ayersman is overcome with grief. She says her mom, 78-year-old Patricia Jimmerfield, was murdered in her Vancouver home Tuesday night in the Lakeshore neighborhood. She was concerned when she couldn't reach her.
I called my aunt who lives in town to come over to the house because something was wrong. And she found her dead.
Stephanie says her mom, a great-grandmother and retired nurse, had been beaten and strangled.
Stephanie, who would do this?
I don't know. It feels personal.
And Stephanie has her suspicions after learning someone had burglarized her mom's home on Monday, the day before the murder. She says her mom texted her Tuesday morning, writing, "Extremely stressed out, bank fraud, etc. We'll call later." It was the last time she heard from her.
They broke in twice. Once Monday night and stole her wallet and then charged up her cards. And then last night when they killed her.
Clark County Sheriff's officials aren't sharing details about the case, but confirm they're investigating a homicide at the home near Northwest 99th Street and 26th Avenue.
You wouldn't expect this to happen here.
Dan and his wife Amanda live nearby.
It's a great neighborhood. Really nice, kind of quiet and calm, easygoing.
Both are at a loss.
No, not around here. And sure enough, I find out just 20 minutes ago.
For loved ones, this will never seem real.
If anybody knows anything, if anyone saw anything, please call the police department. I want to know who killed my mom.
In Vancouver, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Meanwhile, a North Portland pot shop employee who allegedly shot and killed 2 robbery suspects is now charged with murder. Portland police say 34-year-old Jason Steiner shot the men last Thursday at Lamotta in the St. John's neighborhood. This all followed an armed robbery. Police also identified the victims in the story as an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old, both from Milwaukee.
Ethel Kennedy, the matriarch of the famous Kennedy family, has died. She was 96 years old. Ethel was the wife of Senator Robert Kennedy. She was by her husband's side when the senator was killed while running for president in 1968. We're told she loved politics and founded the Robert F. Kennedy Center for Justice and Human Rights. In 2014, President Obama awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom.